She worked with banking sector, and currently she engaged with one of the biggest companies in Dubai. Of course, she conducted several sessions and trained on HR topics, on career, and written n number of articles on HR and HR topics. Of course, being a Gujarati, born in a Gujarati family, brought up in God's own country, she loves cooking, theater, hiking, and adventures. And that's kind of a very brief introduction. It's too less for me to introduce her in that way. But without taking much time, I would like to hand over the virtual stage to Jasmine. And Jasmine, the stage is yours for the next few minutes. Carry on.
Thank you, Santosh. Thank you for the lovely and the warm welcome. I'm just gonna quickly share my screen. Okay, so to start with, thank you, Santosh. Thank you, Abel, and absolutely wonderful meeting you, Faisal. So this is, it's a great opportunity, and what I want to share is that, you know, today is probably going to be a learning experience for me, because I enjoy these sessions, because through these sessions, I kind of also understand so many varied perspectives. I also understand how differently different people look at the same, you know, object, initiative, or idea. So it's a great learning experience for me too. And what are we going to cover here now? There's a lot happening, right? There is a lot of change happening in the last 5 years. A lot of automation, a lot of focus on IT, a lot of investment in artificial intelligence, robotics, blockchain, machine learning, whatnot, right? So there is a lot happening now. As an, you know, employee, or as even a person who is outside the HR function, you know, people normally just wonder, what do these HR people do? You must have heard that, right? I mean, what do these HR people do really, like, you know? So that is a very common question that even I heard at the start of my career, and there would be so many people who would just wonder, what do the HR people really do, and what are they really thinking about? But what I want to kind of share with you today is a snapshot of, or maybe just you know, a smaller spectrum of what really the HR people are thinking about, and what really they're investing their time on, and what is it that they are looking for when they are, you know, looking at hiring a resource, or they are looking at, you know, making an offer, or what is it that, you know, changes their mind even the last minute. So these are some of the things that I'm going to touch upon. Now, I was made to understand that this forum has of course a diverse audience, but all of us are always ready for a change in career, and all of us are always ready to kind of look at the next big opportunity. So I think, you know, I chose this topic because I felt that this will probably be the least common denominator for all of us, because all of us at all point of time are looking at that big opportunity. And what I will try to cover is that what is it that we need to focus on, you know, in order to kind of achieve that. So that's what I'm going to share. Before I get started, I'm more than happy if you have any questions. Please unmute yourself. Okay, sorry, I forgot the rules. No unmuting yourself now. So yeah, if you have any questions, Santosh is going to support me. He's going to be watching the chat room. And if you have any questions, post them over there. I will make it a point that after my session is completed, I will definitely answer all your questions. So with that, I will just get started. Now, there are some rules that I'm going to give you all, and these are going to be some fun rules. I don't want this to be a monologue. I want this to be a dialogue. So I want each of you to respond, give me reactions, and I'm absolutely okay with you giving me a frown, you telling me, oh my God, don't like, you know, don't bore us with this. I'm absolutely okay with that. But the reaction is a must. So after I finish every slide, or after I say something that you find meaningful, please drop in your messages, your comments on the chat. So, so that will be a great way for me to know that, okay, you are, because I cannot actually see any of you, I cannot hear you. So that's the only way that I can find out if you guys are receptive to what I'm saying. So all good?
Yes, Jasmine, go ahead. We are just
okay, waiting. Perfect. So Santosh, I'll keep checking with you if there are reactions on the chat.
No, you carry on. I will not, I mean, nobody will interrupt you. The reason being, we'll take the question at the end of the session so that we can hold it until then.
No, not questions, reactions. So basically smileys, thumbs ups, those things, right?
You will get a lot of them. You can see my face.
Okay, great. So yeah, I will now get started with what I want to communicate. I will first share the background and the context before I move into the main topic. So I don't want to kind of put in a lot of theory and talk about anything which is theoretical, or which is also probably you are aware of. What I want to do is I just want to kind of connect the dots for you, so that I can come back to the slide and say, hey, you know what, this is what I was referring to. So please bear with me if it goes a little technical. I don't intend to kind of make it sound technical. Now, a very simple thing that I want to communicate over here is that, so before that, you can please put in your answers in the chat one. So do you think a business strategy translates into a talent strategy, and what does a talent strategy translate into? So put in your answers in the chat so we can kind of have a good understanding of what you think. So please put in your answers. What does a talent strategy really translate into? Anything, whatever comes to your mind, whatever has been your experience, please put it in the chat. Do we have some answers, Santosh?
Yes, people are saying yes. Acquisition of assets, business strategy is the overall plan to achieve the objective. Talent is a subset.
Okay, great. Now, talent strategy as an HR practitioner, it translates into multiple things, right? Of course, it starts with attracting talent, onboarding, developing talent, engaging them, recognizing them, and then transition. So what happens is that every time there is a talent strategy, it always gets derived from the business strategy. And this is a no-brainer. Everybody knows this. I don't need to dwell too much upon this, but I will be coming back to the slide. So please have a visual map of the slide ready in your mind. Now, the most important part is these initiatives and talent modules that a company implements within the organization. It could be engagement, it could be nurturing talent, it could be retention, it could be any of those initiatives that any organization undertakes. This ultimately leads to your talent outcomes, and this leads to your business outcomes. So I think in a nutshell, it's clear that business strategy leads to a talent strategy. There are multiple initiatives, modules, frameworks involved in this, and then that lead to talent outcomes, subsequently to business outcomes. Now, what I want to share over here is one of the most important aspects of the talent strategy, which is talent acquisition. Now, let me tell you, a lot of leaders and a lot of researchers have told that the one point or the one gate that you have to ensure that you have the right people coming into your system is your talent acquisition. So if you have a robust talent acquisition process, then it is quite likely that you have a talent that is going to grow your company. You have a talent that is going to make your company attract more talent, and you will also have a talent that is also going to increase the capability multiple fold for the organization and for the people. So that is again, so we all know that that will be a starting point. And so let's say if at the entrance itself you are guarded, and if you are holding fort over there, so imagine the kind of company you would build. So which is why I think the emphasis on talent acquisition, and which is why my focus will be on the HR side of talent acquisition too. Now, dynamism in talent acquisition. So there is a lot happening right now. There's so much of change that has been happening. Now, if you look at, there are multiple roles that are involved. You have the recruiter who is planning, sourcing, screening, then assessing the candidate, connecting, offering. You also have the management who is figuring out in terms of what is the budget, insights. They also do the interviews, they are doing the assessments, and then they onboard people and share feedback. You have a candidate who you try to attract, discover, personalize, engage, convert. And these words were not common. These words are not common before. these words are only common now, because as an HR, I want to project that, you know what, I think my company has a better value proposition in the market than many others. Because I want to project that my company has a better employer brand, and you would want to work with me and you will benefit from working with me. So which is why you see these words coming over here. And as an HR, what's going on over here? Now, so now I will again come back to the slide, the previous slide. So if I come back to my previous slide, I'm saying over here that the business strategy is linked to the talent strategy and it's linked to attraction, talent acquisition. Coming back to my slide, what I wanted to convey was that why is this change happening? Why earlier, what did we see? Earlier, we just saw source, attract, screen, and convert. Now we have personalize, we have discover, we have engage. And as an HR, what we are constantly trying to do is we are constantly trying to update our talent strategy along with the business. What is the business talking about right now? The business right now is talking about productivity, talking about efficiency, talking about getting more with less. Now, if my business is talking about getting more with less, how do I kind of ensure that as an HR, I have all the tools in place to get more with less? Now, I have to kind of align myself to the business strategy of investing in IT, of investing in automation, of investing in tools and frameworks, and which is what I will do to kind of modify. So as an HR, I may be, getting into a lot of aspects which is probably not core HR, but this is what we are moving into. We are moving into a pull factor cycle for recruitment, where we create a brand, we create a company, and we create processes and policies in a manner that we attract employees. Can you name, so right now, can you name in the chat some companies that you think have excellent talent acquisition strategies, or they are excellent companies to work with and you would want to work there? I have some names in my mind, but I want to see what's coming on the chat. So Santosh, keep me posted on what's coming.
Okay, I can see one is Google, second is Unilever.
Yes, yes.
Any other? Okay, God's Edge. I'm sure this is coming from India.
Yeah. God's Edge is someone's company, I think. You can do the branding here, no problem.
Okay, Apple, Infosys.
Yes,
okay.
yes. So do you see, now why are you putting these names over here? You're putting these names over here because these are employer brands. These companies, the HR in these companies have aligned themselves to the business strategy and invested in things that matter to the outside world, which is why comes these phases of discover, personalize, and engage. So from an HR point of view, right, you may kind of think that, oh my God, they have like 10 rounds of interview and they make us go through, so many things at at one point of time. For some of you, it may be frustrating, but for most of them, this is the entire employee journey or the employee experience that they are gathering. So we invest a lot of time on a lot of these things. And I think, I will tell you at a point where it kind of, boils down to certain questions or key questions that I will ask you. And I'll be very curious to know what your answers to those questions are. Now, there is a lot of churn, a lot of activity, a lot of, change happening in talent acquisition. So I'm sure most of us have gone through this phase of, getting an offer letter and then it gets declined. We've gone through this phase of, we have it all, everything is perfect, like according to us, of course, not according to the recruiter. Everything is good. We've done this. I've attended Dubai job hunts. I've attended empowerment talks. I've updated my CV. I've had a one-on-one session. I have done well in my interview, but I've not got the job. Now, there are multiple factors that the HR go through in order to kind of convert a recruitment into an offer letter. Now, again, which is why I want to kind of keep coming back to this main slide, right? And then link it to that. So let's say, for example, I have a plan to hire, someone in the IT. Now, it's the month of November, and now, in Jan, the strategy changes, or let's say even the leadership changes, which changes the entire strategy of that IT function. Now, as an HR, what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to immediately try and understand what is the business requirement, where is it that the person wants new skills, where is it that I need to invest my time and energy on. And what happens is that these factors kind of impact what we do even to you guys. And sometimes we may not do the right things. I completely agree on that. But what we are trying to do is we are also trying to follow an internal mandate that's been given to us. And that we think is absolutely important for us to comply with. Now, the pitfalls of an HR not aligning to the business strategy is all of these things that you see over here will not happen because there is no alignment. So if sometimes, an HR comes to you and tells you that, I'm sorry, but, it doesn't look like we can offer you what you want. You might think, oh my God, it's such a big company and, they're telling me they can't offer me what I want. I'm asking for peanuts. Agreed. Fair enough. But there might be a leadership change and that leader has probably told that, you know what, I don't think we can afford this guy, drop him. So we drop you. So a lot of times the decisions or the actions that we take are the result of the leadership that cascades down. And the factors that influence the leadership are budget, insights, interview, market, what competitors are doing. So I don't intend to here say that every time whatever actions that is being taken is fair. I only want to convey one side of it, which says that as an HR, I know that a lot of times we need to do things that we may not personally do it, but we need to do it being the role of an HR business partner. So that's one point I wanted to share over here, that a lot of factors go into your journey or go into your experience. At the same time, our role is also to ensure that you experience all of these things. You discover the company, we have a personalized touch for you, we engage you, we try to ensure that we give you material, we communicate with you. So we do a lot of those things to keep you engaged throughout the process. Adding to the challenges, we have social media, we have artificial intelligence, we have applicant tracking system, chatbots, and all of this coming into the ecosystem of talent acquisition. So obviously, as a recruiter or as an HR person, I need to be prepared for that. And it's not just me, so do you. You need to be prepared for that as well. So we will come to that in a bit in terms of how you can be prepared for that. Now, next is something that I want inputs from you. And again, pour in your feedback on the chat. So we all, I think the group over here definitely has some years of experience and some have more and some have less. I want each of you to kind of put in the chat, what is the old way and what is the new way? Just put the old way and the new way. I mean, just to give you an example, the old way was, maybe physically submitting the CVs to any company. New ways is, of course, online, email. So you could put anything, but I want you to put in old way and new way in the chat and let me see what your inputs are looking like.
Yeah, they're telling, okay, face-to-face interview to digital interviews, and that's what from Avil, and recruitment, new ways of ATS, and okay, qualifications, experience to more skill-based hiring, offline versus online, switch. Okay, those are ones. Yeah, that's it.
Fantastic. Okay, that is great. So quite obvious that you all have been attending all the empowerment talk and DJ sessions. And yes, what you're saying is right, because now what, over here, I want to touch upon one point. So what, according to you, has changed? So one of the things, as you rightly mentioned, that has changed is how you recruit, right? How you recruit has changed significantly. Now, if I look at this, if you look at any part of the recruitment cycle, be it the application, be it networking, there is so much, a lot more of social media right now. I had done a previous session with Dubai Job Hunt on how we can use LinkedIn effectively to kind of get a job or to update our profile or to even network. Employer events, they've all gone virtual. There are no more, I mean, we are having this session virtual. We are having this, but of course, thanks to COVID, but there is a paradigm shift in the manner in which these things are being done. recruitment is not done through consultants anymore. The recruiters directly log on to LinkedIn or social media and pull out profiles. There's one more very interesting aspect now in terms of recruitment is that earlier when there was an actual job opening, the HR would make an advertisement and post the job, right? And applicants would apply for it. Now, as an HR, I can tell you that what we also do is we advertise for a job that is not existing. So that what happens is that when we advertise for a job that is not existing, we are looking for people, or we are looking for the kind of skills that we are looking for, that kind of gets added to our database. So that is one thing that the HR is also doing right now. HR is also trying to look at not just what is what is available. So a lot of system is used over here. So if you look at how HR is screening, right? Earlier you would have like a whole lot of resumes that you would have to scan through, but and also, so that was helpful, right? So what would happen is that you would call up, hey Santosh, you know what, mera CV is there, my CV is there, can you just look into it? And then it's like sorted. But now you can't do that because there's a machine identifying which CV needs to be picked up. Now you will tell me that's scary. Is it scary? Maybe yes. Can it be manipulated? Maybe yes too. Because all you have to do is you have to identify the keywords that the company is looking for. And if you have those keywords in your CV, you are going to be called for the next round. So technology can work in both ways. Technology can be favorable in terms of process efficiency too, but technology can also help a person manipulate or use other ways. So which is why over reliance on technology is something, as an HR professional, I think we don't do. We also try to validate it with with other data points, so that we have enough evidence or enough analysis available to say that okay, this person will be a good recruit. So that's one thing that I wanted to share with you, that of course there's a lot of automation going on, but as HR we are mindful, because today someone can be giving me a telephonic interview, but do I really know that someone is the person whose CV is shared with me? So there are so many aspects to it, there are so many factors to it. So we as HR also keep that in mind, that while automation is helping us increase our efficiency, we also need to do the due diligence in terms of the accuracy of data or the relevance of the profile. And again, how we are doing it, we have to use multiple mediums. So I will check your CV, I will check your LinkedIn, I will check different mediums to kind of just match all the data points to say that, hey, you know what, this is a profile that I can go ahead with. So right now, as an HR, and from the lens of an HR, what has happened to recruitment? Recruitment has become more agile, more online, more virtual, more social. Everything, every 70% of the recruitment is happening through LinkedIn. 70% of the of late, WhatsApp is the other medium through which recruitment is happening. People send their profiles on WhatsApp, interviews and calls happen on Zoom, and then things just move ahead from there. So social factor of recruitment is unavoidable, and it is to stay. So it is just going to expand more and more. And as HR, we have embraced it, because I think we find that this also gives us a very wide reach, a global reach for us. And technology really helps us in that. We get a very, very diverse crowd to kind of cherry pick from. And that is not good for you guys, because we have options and your options are reducing. So it works both ways. But yeah, let me also assure you that we are not only looking at technology, we are also looking at other data points. So this is with regards to having the change that we are seeing in terms of recruitment. So what has changed in terms of the approach or the process? Now my next, so if I look at what your journey right now looks like from candidate to an employee, you have to identify what your goals are. You have to obviously tap into the right platforms. You have to update your approach. So you have to ensure that you use social media. You have your headlines updated, you are there on LinkedIn, you're there on Twitter, you're talking about the right things. And of course, your online presence is extremely important. Now, what happens in the candidate awareness journey, and this is a typical journey that any of you will follow, and this is what has changed from before. So you see a tweet, you read a blog, you visit the Glassdoor, then you follow the company on LinkedIn, then you read the employee testimonials, you visit the career page, you register for the talent network, you click on an email, register, attend the event, again, click on an email and apply. So this is a typical journey that you follow now. It's fun, it's exciting. You also get to learn in the process. But this is also something, the reason why you see this journey is because this is a requirement of the business strategy. And as a talent strategy, we have just, as HR, just try to align ourselves to that, because this is what the business needs. The business needs a company that's more agile, that's more social, and that's more virtual, that's creating a higher level of engagement and collaboration. So I'll just pause for a bit over here. If you have any thoughts, any questions, you can post them on the chat. And if you have some reactions too, you can post them on the chat.
Yeah, sure. There are a lot of reactions, and in fact, there are a lot of questions, Jasmine, and I will still allow you to go forward. So
Okay,
that
no problem.
you are in the flow, in the zone, and once it's done, then
Sure.
I'll shower you with a lot of questions.
Okay, I look forward. Right. So great. Now moving forward, the next and the most important change is, what do you get recruited for? And you can pour in your answers in the chat room. And this is a straightforward answer. I'm pretty sure most of you will get it.
Yeah, the question is what you get recruited for.
What do you get recruited for? So first one was that what is the approach for recruitment? How you get recruited is the first question. It's the first change that you experience. And what you get recruited for is the next one that I'm asking you. So do we have any answers?
Basically, why you get recruited for?
Yeah.
In a simple way, yeah. Okay, there's people says for the talent to solve a problem, competence, then there's experience versus experience and degrees.
Super. I love your participation and I love your answers. Yes, a lot has changed, and a lot has changed because the recruiting teams have also changed, right? Now, as HR, because there was a change in the business strategy, we had to change our talent strategy, which also meant we changed our talent acquisition strategy. Until some years back, we hired to fill defined and well-known jobs. Today, as HR, we are hiring not just for today's jobs, but we are also hiring for tomorrow's jobs, which means that we as HR are planning a lot more in advance. We are doing critical workforce segmentation. We are identifying the critical skills for the future. We are identifying what is required for tomorrow that we can plan for right now. So 85% of the current students will be doing jobs that don't exist. And this is scary. So imagine the level at which, we need to kind of research, analyze, investigate, and adopt approaches that will be suitable to the organization in terms of talent strategy for the next 2 years, 3 years, or 5 years. Now, previously, like I mentioned before, we hired when there was a need. Now there is proactive hiring. 83% of the companies source proactively and they source passively. So what do I mean when I say source passively? So let me tell you one thing that, I got hired passively into my current company. I was not looking for a change. I was not looking for a job. I was happy where I was. But I had this recruiter who called me and he said that, I saw your profile and I think it matches this profile that I have. I did not show interest, but as he started talking, I got interested. The role was good. The work-life balance was good. The culture was good. The company had great reviews. I was like, okay, why not just give it a try? So I was a passive employee or a candidate that they attracted to the company. And how did they attract that? With their employer brand, with their engagement, with their discovery, and with how they positioned the company to me. Now, that is what is happening right now. And this never happened before. And this presents a huge opportunity for you as job applicants or as people who are who aspire to change your career, that if you invest on the right things right now, you will be a potentially picked person for future jobs. So it gives a very, very strong message. And this is something that, I think everybody should kind of, implement in their way of, in their scheme of things. Now, which is why if you see the next one says that 90% of the candidates are open to hearing about prospective employers. So tomorrow, if Awil is doing great in his job, if I still reach out to him and say that, and the companies are also attracting people saying that, for example, Netflix said that I will double the offer that you have and you come and work with me. Such lucrative offers that you can't say no to it, right? And when you are doing passive recruitment, you have already identified the skill that you're looking for, and you are targeting the right skill to come into your company, and which is why passive recruitment really works. And how does this work? Because there is a team behind, and I'm not here saying that it's the HR team. I'm saying that there is a team which is a combination of multifunctional team, a team that has a change in business strategy, the HR team, the strategy team, all of them sit together and decide, okay, what are the kind of skills that we are looking for? There are ways and means to do that, and there are things that you can adopt to do that. Right now, earlier, what happened was that the HR people captured all the application data, whatever is there in your resume. Now, what we do is we capture the relationship data. So we capture everything about you. So like I mentioned, though technology gives us efficiency, we also have various other data points that we look at to build our, build our complete analysis about a profile. And LinkedIn is also, a great way to kind of, capture all the relationship data. Now, internal talent is also considered as a source of recruitment, where you ensure that you have programs which lead into, a career ladder or a career progression. And of course, we've spoken about this, that, there are the metrics on which talent acquisition or VHR people get measured on have also changed drastically. So now with this, what do we understand is the most important? What is it that the recruiters are looking for? And some of you answered that. It is skills or competence. So the method of recruitment can change, right? And you will, of course, modify your approach to the method of recruitment. But the skills that will be required is something which will be universally, a requirement of a recruiter. A recruiter will never, do away with this parameter. So if you try and identify, and this is where the key point is, if you try and identify what are the skills that this company will require in the next 2 years or the next 3 years, I think, your journey has already begun. This is where we HR people invest our time, money, and effort on. And somebody mentioned over here before that, we are moving towards skill-based jobs. That is exactly where we are moving towards. Earlier, we were in job-based recruitment because it was all specific to a job. We are moving to skill-based recruitment now. So if everything revolves around skills and competencies, this is one of the key things that we as HR people are working on. We are working on understanding the business strategy, and I'm going to bring back the first slide here. We're going to understand the talent strategy linked to the business strategy. Now, that in the talent strategy, one of the things that comes over here is all the tools. So if you look at below the talent strategy, right, it's all your tools, frameworks, designs, everything that you do, that as an HR team does to ensure that the employee life cycle is managed. Now, what I also want to kind of, get your attention to is that we invest a lot of time and effort in ensuring that we, one, know the right skills required for the job. We ensure that we have the right people applying for the job, and we ensure that we develop the right skills within our organization so that our talent strategy gives the right business outcomes. So this is where the linkage for us comes in order to any kind of, business outcome. You must have heard of organizations saying that, our talent strategy helped us increase productivity by 30%. Our talent strategy helped us, increase engagement by 40%. These are all numbers that come up, but the thought process that goes behind it is in terms of these initiatives, in terms of aligning a talent module or a talent program to the business strategy, in terms of making these changes in the system process or in the policies. So this is where we try and focus our energy on, and we try to ensure that our prime focus is on skills of the employee, where we try to understand, interpret, anticipate, and also evolve the skills that are required for the role. So I will just pause over here. If there are any questions, please feel free to drop in the chat room.
Jasmine, I sure I'll hold all the questions, but still I want to ask you one question. Probably it's quite relevant here. How do HR people hire for the future skills? Because you're talking about the future skills, right?
Yes, absolutely. So thanks for that question, Santosh. It is relevant to this slide. So if an HR person wants to hire for a future skill, first of all, how do we identify the future skills, right? Because I think one of the key things that the HR people do is that they will look at these research reports that come in from these companies like Pearson or any of the big fours or Oliver Wyman. What we do is we identify certain mega trends. So when we identify the mega trends, we identify, so let's say I'm looking at, healthcare sector. So I identify certain mega trends in terms of digitization, this is what is happening across the world. There is, virtual teams, there is different change in policies. So those mega themes, I kind of then club them together into themes that can be combined or which are similar in nature. Now, once I have that, then we have, experts. So we have a focused group internally, which is a cross-functional group. Now, in that cross-functional group, we ask everybody that, okay, if these are the top 10 trends based on our research, right? Which ones do you think are the most relevant for our organization? The moment they tell us that, okay, and everybody answers these questions in a ranking order, saying that which ones are most relevant for the organization. The moment that is done, what we also do is that we invest in AI, artificial intelligence, or we invest in machine learning, where we try to put algorithms which kind of tell us that, okay, if these are the top trends, which one is coming out to be the most frequent or which one is coming out to be the most voted for. Once we get a combination of the expert analysis and this analysis that we invest time and effort on, we know that, okay, these are the top 4-5 themes that are going to work for the next 3-4 years. Now, the moment we know that these are the top 3-4-5 schemes that are going to work for us in the next 3-4 years, what does that mean? That means we need to alter our talent strategy. That means that the business strategy will anyways get aligned because of competition, because of people around, because of the urge to get higher profits. The business strategy will get definitely modified, but the talent strategy has to proactively modify so that when the business is ready, we are already prepared with our research and answers. So once we have done this, it gives us trends, it gives us top 5 themes, which we then convert into a competency framework. And this, so let's say, for example, the top 3 themes that come out for me are innovation, consumer experience, and automation. Now, what will happen is that my business strategy will get redefined. My talent strategy will focus on these 3 elements. So if I go back to the previous slide, this entire journey for me gets modified according to the talent strategy I have. And that is what we are investing our time on, just to ensure that we have something which is future ready, which is also applicable and relevant for the current times. So this is something that I wanted to share with you, that that we do invest in a competency framework. Now, once we have identified that these are the skills that are required, right? I will also show you a snapshot of it. there are various ways in which we can do assessment of these skills, right? So how do we identify these skills from the employees or from the candidates? There are AI-based sourcing tools. There is machine learning that helps us, that the inbuilt algorithms in the system that help us identify certain keywords or identify the movement of certain skills or trends in skills. We can use assessment centers. Assessment centers is like a multiple assessor, multiple mediums to assess a candidate on various situations and competencies. It's used very, very widely across globally for selecting a candidate. So if you have gone through some companies, some rounds, there are 4-5 rounds, right? And in some rounds it's like a case study, then you have an interview, then it's like a cognitive test. All of this is a part of assessment center. The other things that they use to identify the right future skills are skills inventory questionnaires. So there are questionnaires on innovation, or you can say digitization. There are different questionnaires that can be prepared. The reliability and validity can be identified, and these questionnaires are given to candidates so that they respond, and based on their responses they identify that, okay, anyone who's kind of scored about this seems to be a better fit than the remaining ones for the skills that we require. Simulation is a very good way. So what Facebook, Google do is that, if they want to hire you, they will say, this is the problem, find a solution through coding and give it to us. And that is how they kind of understand how good you are with your subject. So simulation is a great way to hire a person. So gone are the days when it would just be a interview and you would have you would be selected based on just an interview. Of course, there are companies doing that, but as HR, let me tell you that what we are trying to do is we are trying to diversify the data points we receive, and we are also looking at the consistency in data points. So have you shown me innovation through the AI? Have you shown me innovation through assessment centers? Have you shown me innovation through skills inventory or questionnaire, and through simulation? So if I get consistently that you've shown me innovation, you are the guy, I'm going to hire you. So this is how we go about try to identify the best fit for us in terms of current and future skills. And I'm insisting future skills, because we do not want to just do hiring on current needs. I'll also now share with you what looks like a competency framework. So let's say I have digital maturity as one of the competencies identified through my expert panel, through my machine learning algorithms. And what I did was, in order to ensure that I have a talent strategy that is aligned to my business strategy, I will prepare a proficiency level like this. So if you can clearly see, like data and insights, basic level 1, no data, no insight. Level 2 is the company has some data, a team of people manually analyze and provide insights. Level 3 is company has a big data solution gathering a lot of data, automatic reporting, almost a 360-degree view of a customer. So it keeps increasing, in terms of its proficiency. And now, as a HR, what I will do is, let's say I want to hire a digital manager in the IT team. Now, if or in the marketing team, I will first try and identify for that role what is the level of competency that is required, or level of skill that is required. So maybe I need the level 3 for him. So what happens during my interview? During my interview, when I'm doing the assessment center, when I'm doing the skills inventory, simulation, hiring a freelancer, or I'm doing any kind of personal or structured interview, I will focus on getting this level 3. So my entire design of my questionnaire, my structure, the information I'm seeking is designed around seeing that am I meeting the desired. Now this is the desired. Now let's say you have some data and you have something that you analyze, then I'll be like, okay, this is level 2, not really level 3. So you know what, let me look at some other candidate. And maybe at the same time, I would find another candidate who has a complete big data solution, who has automatic reporting and many more features. Then I'll be like, okay, I think this person has a lot more skills than I require. And maybe if I hire him now, he could be a potentially, a high performer in the company. Now, this is the manner in which we kind of use our competency framework to link it to, business strategy and also link it to business outcomes. Now, when we hire a person based on a framework like this, it's more scientific, it's more balanced, and it is more acceptable, because when the employee knows that these are the parameters that we were looking for, he feels that he has gone through a level of screening which actually makes it an achievement for him to complete that process and get an offer letter. So skills, competency are key things that we kind of work on in order to ensure that our talent strategy is meeting our business strategy. We contribute to business outcomes. Now, this is just a sample, but of course, there are many such frameworks. There are many such skill matrix. It's called in different terms, but the root is to kind of ensure that we have frameworks and tools in place to ensure that we take our company higher in terms of experience, in terms of employer brand, and in terms of business outcome. Now, with that, I want all of you to kind of put it in a chat that you have to complete this sentence. So you have to say, upskill yourself in a manner that, and you complete it. I have my answer for this. I will share it with you, but I want to see what your answer is.
That's a nice one, Jasmine. I'm sure, like, from the information what you gave as of now, they should be getting this answer right.
Yes,
Upskill yourself in a manner that dash.
Yeah. So fill in the blanks. You can write whatever you want. You can get creative. You can get humorous. But put in an answer. I think it'll be a fun thing to read up. After this is the last slide. So of course, I'm open to your questions now.
Okay. Only you can fit in that the role, and there is no other. And manner that the company headhunt you. Okay, that's my question. My answer, of course. We all update AI. Okay. The HR batch you immediately. Okay. Inspires and motivates other. You won't be outdated. That's a quite of answers. I'm sure that's not matching yours.
Okay, so my answer to this was, upskill yourself in a manner that the job finds you and you don't find the job.
Awesome.
So with that, I'm open to your questions. I'm happy to answer. I'm happy to have you all unmute your mics now and talk, and let's discuss.
Yeah, I would still hold the screen for some time, so that
no
I get more screen time.
No, absolutely.
Okay.
However you think is okay.
Yeah, I'll just stop sharing your screen, Jasmine. Then I'll get into question. If you want slides for answering some question, then you can still. I mean, if you want for reference to show them.
No, that's fine. I'm okay.
Okay. Yeah, I just have a couple of questions to you. Of course, we talked about skills. So before I get into the audience, of course, I understood, like, how do HR people hire for the future skills. My now other question is, what are the different types of these competencies of future skills?
So the different types of competencies, I may be a little technical over here, but there is leadership competencies, which is more like strategic thinking, visionary, innovation, building capability. There are technical competencies, which is more like, accounting, understanding of logarithms, etc. And there are behavioral competencies. And I also want to highlight upon this that, behavioral competencies, now as we are moving towards a digitized era, the focus is a lot more on behavioral and leadership competencies than technical competencies. So because it's very easy, right? This is the information age. You Google something, you get whatever you want, but you don't get the behaviors if you Google it. That is something which is intrinsic. That is something which is determined by you as a person, your environment, what you are exposed to. So the trend is that HR people are moving towards hiring for the right behaviors and the attitude rather than hiring for technical skills. So if you are short of some technical skills or certifications, don't bother.
Okay, I know that, Jasmine, when I saw that matrix, it was looking like something like it's no more a HR job. It's like some scientist job, getting all people together and getting into some kind of a high end thought process and with the technology and everything, right?
Yeah, of course.
So
I mentioned before, Santosh. This is not purely an HR thing that we deliver. It's a joint effort. There are different functional teams involved, and collectively. But what we do is that we help these teams kind of think in a particular direction so that we get our answers. So at least we are able to channelize that.
okay, I have one last question before I jump into audience question, and the question is now: how do employees acquire these skills for the future? Because for you HR people, you are working with your closer groups, you have identified these groups by the trends and by your focus groups and everything, right? But unfortunately on the employee side, they don't have, if they don't have one, something like Dubai Jobs and Group or the employment talks where we explore a lot of things, right? But if you don't have
Yeah.
something like that, how do we really find those skills and acquire them?
Yeah, so it's a very good question. I think all of us should ask ourselves these questions: that what are the future skills that are required and that are needed that I can acquire? Now, how do you know what the future skills are, right? You obviously know, right? Everything you can see your environment. I think if you just keep your eyes, ears open and your senses open, you can see the changes in the environment, and which is what we discussed at the start, right? So you submit an application, your application that gets rejected, you start thinking, right? Why my application got rejected? My application got rejected because the computer searched for a keyword and that keyword was not there in my application, right? So what you do is you start putting in that keyword in your application. Now this is how the entire ecosystem functions. So how do you identify your future skills? You have to take cues from these things that you receive. You have to take cues from the rejections you receive. Your rejections are your biggest clue for identifying what are the future skills you need, because that is exactly what will tell you. You will feel down for some time, you will feel sad, or you feel terrible about yourself for some time. But think about it, if you actually ponder on it, you will actually identify what are the future skills you need to acquire. So you will know that, okay, do I need to get more digital about myself? Do I need to talk more about myself? Do I need to ensure that I have the skills that the HR wants? Now that's a very good one, because how do I know the skills that the HR wants? Okay, I agree, a JD is outdated, it's not updated sometimes, but every time a recruiter is recruiting, he describes the role and he describes what they are looking for, at least to the recruiter. He might not tell you as a candidate, but if you ask him the role, right, within the role, you will be, I can do a separate session on that, but once you understand the role, you can easily identify what are the key things or skills that they are looking for. Apart from that, what you can do is you can research about the company, right? So remember this point, talent strategy is always aligned to the business strategy. So you research about the company. If you research enough, you will know what the company plans to do in the next 1 to 2 years. You already know where the company will be investing most of their talent efforts on. And the moment you know that, you need to identify how you can reach to that stage of acquiring that skill. You can acquire that skill through talent communities, through LinkedIn, through self-learning, through a friend, through networking, through various ways. Now, the important thing is that you have to be self-motivated to acquire that skill. Because if you think it's going to happen, it's not going to happen. You have to think that, I want to be able to do that. And this is something that I'm really interested in. And it can definitely start working in your favor. So this is how you can go about identifying what skills you can offer to your recruiter. I hope I've answered you, Santosh.
Absolutely, I understand. Like sometimes it's not so difficult if you really follow the companies and if you follow what happens actually exactly in your interviews and what was the response. It's a little bit challenging during the interviews because sometimes after the interview they may not tell you why you are not hired, or like,
correct.
but still you have to pick up those cues and see, okay, how why I did not do good. Probably there were a couple of points where I did not do good. Probably those were the skills they wanted me. To get right.
Yeah, plus I think, there are these forums called Glassdoor and Indeed, right? These forums are places where you can get employee or candidate feedback on the company. So a candidate can post over there saying that, I did not get hired because I did not make a video CV of my profile. And they wanted someone, and there must be a reason why the HR wanted someone with a video CV, because they want someone with those skills who can visualize, who can create something, who can not give a routine CV. So that could be the reason for it. So please visit these places called Glassdoor and Indeed to kind of get better insights into, what the company is looking for.
Okay, that's basically full stop on your question now. Okay, now before I move into audience, Jasmine, that's the end of my questions. I thank all the YouTube audience who've been watching there and coming on live, and of course you go back and watch the episodes again if somebody has missed the episodes. We'll be getting back to the Q&A. And before I move there, Jasmine, one single question to you, which is, what's your experience on coming on to empowerment talks, and how do you feel about coming to the platform?
I think I absolutely love it. There's never been a time when Avil is told that, Jasmine, if you can, do you think you have some time to do it? However busy I am, I just feel so good about, sharing what I have learned to people around me. And I feel it's a great opportunity to also get, like I mentioned in the start, for me, it's also a learning opportunity from personally, because so many perspectives, so many things people ask and people want to know about. It kind of works both ways for me. So I think it's a mutually beneficial relationship.